Welcome back to the Dark Knight's Tales podcast, a podcast dedicated to horror fans around the world. I'm your host, Tanis Clark, and I'm glad to present Yoga Class, written by Jaydeep Shah and performed by Tanis Clark and Sean Anthony. In a dark, creepy night, some children were playing baseball in the park behind the yoga studio where class was being held. They suddenly heard a girl scream as it wafted through the air from the yoga class to the garden from an open window. Om climbed a tree to find the issue, and a knife went into his forehead. Other children ran away from the yoga studio and hid in a small hole like a cave under the hospital across the road. Meanwhile, they kept their eyes on the studio to verify if they were out of danger. However, as the evening faded out, one by one, everyone fell asleep from exhaustion. The next morning, the people found themselves chained in a small, dusty room with no windows. Scrutinizing the room and then trying to open the door, they screamed for help. Unfortunately, no one was there to hear their screams and help them to escape. With a lack of nutrition, 3 children died from suffocation. The kidnappers buried their dead bodies in a corner of the park behind the studio. Thinking over and over several times, looking around, a kid named Kim's eyes halted at the baseball bat in a corner on the right. He extended his hand and grabbed the bat. Then, he broke his chain and released the others as well. Now, breaking the door lock, the children rushed out of the room and ran after Kim as he ran in a random direction into the corridor. Their bad luck. They reached the basement while trying to find an exit.
Who's there? Is this my food?
The children halted in their places as a disembodied girl's scary voice entered their ears. Before she could see them, some hid behind the curtain. 3 hid under a table, and 2 hid in a wooden chest, keeping the door slightly open so that they could breathe. As the shadow passed through them, they covered their mouths in horror, trying not to breathe while gaping at her to prevent the girl from sensing their presence. The girl disappeared mysteriously into thin air as her eyes had failed to spot the children, and with that, the kids exhaled in relief.
"Where's her food?"
asked James in trepidation, as if he feared the girl would kill him and everyone else present in the building.
I don't know.
Continued Rocky.
What?
Screamed James in shock.
You said her food is not ready yet.
He exclaimed in a blend of anger and stress.
She will kill us.
He alerted Rocky, reminding him what could happen to them if he didn't bring food for the girl.
I'm extremely sorry. She won't listen to your sorry.
A pregnant silence as Rocky stood in embarrassment, and James shook his head in disbelief. Then the next moment, James saw children exiting the basement.
I'll quickly arrange her food,
said Rocky, and he turned around with an attempt to rush away from James. But he stopped, also staring at the children exiting the basement. Exchanging a quick glance, both rushed to them and blocked their way. Children stood still, gazing at them, some in dread, some in distress, and some in anger. After a few hours, James threw Kim in a cage on the 2nd floor. Other kids were locked in a room made of glass. All of them kept staring at Kim in apprehension. James and Rocky locked themselves in their control room, their eyes fixed on Kim in the cage through the paned glass window. Then Rocky opened the cage as he heard a terrifying growl of a creature. Kim did not move, suppressing all his feelings of dread. He just let his fury control his mind so that he could empty it on the creature to fight back and to survive. A 20-foot-long creature with 2 fangs, dark black eyes, and a long tail entered the cage. And Rocky closed the cage's gate an instant before Kim could try to exit, and the creature after him. Kim began battling with the creature, and after a while, she pulled hard at its fangs and thrust them into its eyes and then its throat. The creature stumbled, and then its strength faded away. The creature's dead body fell and evaporated mysteriously in thin air. James opened the door, and Kim exited the cage.
Who killed my friend? I will kill him and everyone else.
A disembodied voice sounded. Kim and everyone else saw one girl on the stairs. Kim hid behind an old TV, realizing it was the same creepy girl he had seen in the basement. The other children stayed quiet in their room, also realizing the girl's identity. James, Rocky, and their other team members hid under their computer tables in terror of their death. The yoga studio shook with the girl's ghost's frightening scream of rage, which destroyed all of the glass in the room. As the children screamed in horror, she spotted them backing up in the room. Gaping at her, she progressed toward them, but then she stopped, smelling human sweat near her. Before she could inspect the place, Kim accidentally broke the TV behind him as he tried to run away. The next moment, the ghost flickered out of existence in thin air, and it soon became apparent that the TV was the home of that ghost, or that somehow she was linked to it. Now, the happiest moment was that everyone was free from the ghost's terror.
Thank you for listening to this episode. This story was originally published in the Fear is Back, Book 2 of Horror Stories series. If you enjoyed listening to this story, consider buying The Fear is Back. We will be back on Wednesday with one more scary tale. In the meantime, listen to our previous episodes of Dark Night Tales podcast and check out the author's website, www.jdeepshah.com.